So for step 8, attaching the motor, well, you can see that there are these two pieces here, A7, that need to be attached to the top of that gearbox piece, and then we have two screws that are going to screw into the holes to put the motor onto the gearbox. You just have to make sure that you're putting it at the 20-tooth position, because that's the pinion that we're using in the kit. That's the stock pinion. So it's those two screw holes that we need in order to attach that motor. So we've got our two longer screws, and then we've got these BA2 smaller screws. So I'll set this up and we'll put it on. Now, before we get started, you can see that they're showing you putting a caution sticker on. I'm going to do it because it's a reminder for me back in the day as a kid. I just used to do this with the kits then, and I still like to just put them on now, even though I really don't have to. But you can see in terms of the positioning, I am going to put this on more or less the same. It's not totally level, not too worried about it. There we go. There's our caution hot sticker. Very cool. So I'll put that aside for now because we'll grab our chassis parts here, and you can see that these two have to go onto either side of this. So you can see that this is up and down. You can see sort of the ridged area at the top. They need to fit onto the chassis just like that. So they're fitting into that hole. So knowing that, you can see that the screw, and it's the smaller BA2 screws, has to go into that hole there in the part, meaning that you can see that in terms of how that's going to fit into there, there's the one hole that's going to have to fit just like that. So I'll grab the screwdriver and we'll turn that in, and these are not the tapping screws, so you're going to need to make sure you don't over tighten this. There we go. So it looks just like that when it's finished. It's on. I'll do one more little tightening here. No, it's at the end, so I don't have to worry about it. So same thing again on the other side. So I'll put the screw into there, and we'll put that onto the other side. Grab the screwdriver, and I'm holding that with my hand while we screw this in. There we go. And I won't go any farther in that. That screw is in there solid. Yes. So there we go. That's what that's going to look like when it's finished. Almost like a big T bar with this ridge in it, which will have a purpose down the line, I'm sure. So what do we have to do now? Well, it's time to put that motor on. So you can see in terms of the positioning, we want to go into the 20-tooth spot. So you can see on here, this says 20, so you know that it's going to be this screw hole and this screw hole. So if I put one of them in, just so that I can see what we're going to need to attach to, you can see that in terms of how this was to go and the positioning, we need to go into that screw hole there for that outer one. So I'm just going to make sure that that's correct. Line it up. There we go. The screw is in there. So now we can screw it in. Now I'm not going all the way because we need to make sure that the other one is going to go in okay. So it's going to be directly across from it. I can feel that it's actually gone into the hole of the motor. So I'll hold it this way now. Now you don't need to over tighten this, but just make sure that it's definitely tight and on. So there we go. There is our motor installed. Very cool. So step 8 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 9, and we're going to attach the rear section. But there are different instructions depending on the chassis. So this instruction is for the short wheelbase. This instruction's for the medium wheelbase, and this instruction is for the long wheelbase. So this is the one that we're going to work on next.